You're killing your garden by trying too hard. Right now, someone in your neighborhood is growing more food than you with half the effort, and they're doing it with vegetables you've probably never heard of. Here's what nobody tells you. The vegetables that actually survive your mistakes, your schedule, and your unpredictable weather aren't the ones being sold to you. I've tested over 200 varieties across 15 years, and I've watched beginners waste entire seasons on plants that were designed to fail in real-world conditions. The vegetables I'm about to show you don't just tolerate neglect, they punish you for interfering. These are the plants that fed families through the Dust Bowl, that thrived in victory gardens when fertilizer was rationed, and that somehow disappeared from modern gardening advice because they don't need you to buy anything extra. 3 of them will produce more food than anything at your local garden center. One of them was called the insurance crop during the Great Depression, and number 1 has kept more people alive through more disasters than any other plant in history. But here's the problem. If you're growing the wrong vegetables right now, you're wasting time you'll never get back. Let's start at number 20, and by the time we hit number 1, you'll know exactly why your current garden is set up to fail. Number 20, arugula. This leaf doesn't wait for permission. Plant it in early spring or late summer. Scatter the seeds across loose soil, and it will germinate in under a week. It tolerates cold that would kill basil and grows so fast you'll harvest in 3 weeks. The flavor is sharp, peppery, and nothing like the bag of wilted arugula you overpay for at the store. Romans fed it to their workers because it required no skill to grow and no infrastructure to maintain. If you can rake soil, you can grow arugula. Number 19, Swiss chard. This plant refuses to quit. You can harvest the outer leaves all summer, and it keeps regenerating from the center. It handles heat better than spinach, tolerates light frost, and doesn't care if your soil is mediocre. Plant it once in spring, and you'll still be cutting leaves in October. The stems come in colors that look ornamental, so even if you ignore them, your garden won't look abandoned. Chard was a staple in European peasant gardens because it required nothing and gave everything. Number 18, kale. Not the trendy kind. The old lacinato or red Russian varieties that were grown before kale became a superfood. These plants laugh at frost. In fact, cold weather makes the leaves sweeter. Plant them in late summer. Let them sit through fall, and you'll harvest all winter in Zone 7. They don't bolt. They don't attract many pests. And if aphids show up, a hard frost kills them off while the kale keeps growing. This was the vegetable that kept Northern European families alive through winter when nothing else survived. Number 17, garlic. You plant it once in the fall, walk away, and dig it up the following summer. That's the entire process.
No watering.
No fertilizing.
No pest control.
Just stick cloves in the ground in October, mulch them, and forget they exist until June. Hardneck varieties grow better in Zone 6 and 7 because they need a cold period to form bulbs. Garlic has been cultivated for over 5,000 years, and the reason it survived that long is that it doesn't need you. Number 16, turnips. These roots grow fast and taste better than you remember. The problem is that most people only know the grocery store turnips that sit in storage for weeks. Fresh turnips, pulled 60 days after planting, are mild, slightly sweet, and nothing like the bitter mush you were served as a kid. They grow in spring or fall, tolerate poor soil, and the greens are edible too. During World War I, turnips were one of the few vegetables that could be grown quickly in bombed-out urban gardens. They don't ask for much, and they deliver fast. Number 15, parsnips. These are the opposite of instant gratification, but they require zero maintenance. Plant them in spring, ignore them all summer, and dig them up after the first hard frost in fall. Cold weather converts their starches to sugar, which is why parsnips taste sweet and nutty after frost. They were a staple root vegetable in Europe before potatoes arrived from the Americas. Once you plant them, they grow on their own. No pests bother them. No disease touches them. They just sit in the ground, getting sweeter. Number 14, radishes. These are the fastest vegetables on this list. Plant them, and you'll harvest in 3 weeks. They germinate in cold soil, grow in shade, and can be planted every 2 weeks from early spring through fall. The trick is to harvest them young. If you wait too long, they get woody. But that's the only way you can mess them up. Radishes were grown in ancient Egypt because they were foolproof. If you want proof that gardening doesn't have to be complicated, grow radishes. Number 13, leeks. These are the patient vegetables. They take months to mature, but they don't need attention while they wait. Plant them in spring, hill soil around the stems as they grow, and they'll sit in the ground through fall and into winter. They tolerate frost better than onions and don't rot in wet soil. Leeks were a symbol of Wales because they grew in conditions where other alliums failed. If you want a vegetable that you can harvest in December, leeks won't let you down.
Number 12, beets.
These roots grow in cool weather, tolerate heat better than you'd expect, and the greens are edible while the roots develop. Plant them in early spring or late summer, thin them once, and they'll grow without interference. The variety called Detroit Dark Red has been around since the 1890s because it grows in almost any condition. Beets store well, taste earthy and sweet, and were a staple in Eastern European diets because they didn't require skill or luck. Number 11, collard greens. These plants are indestructible. They handle heat, tolerate frost, resist pests, and keep producing leaves for months. In the South, collards are planted in late summer and harvested all winter. In zones 6 and 7, you can do the same. They don't bolt in heat like lettuce. They don't get bitter. And if a hard freeze hits, they survive while everything else dies. Collards were survival food during the Civil War because they grew when nothing else would. Number 10, potatoes. This is where the list gets serious. Potatoes are not finicky. You don't need perfect soil, consistent watering, or pest control. You plant seed potatoes in spring, hill them once or twice, and dig them up when the plants die back. That's it. The reason potatoes fed to entire nations is that they grow in marginal soil and require almost no skill. The Irish relied on them for a reason. When a blight destroyed the crop, it caused a famine, not because potatoes are fragile, but because they were the only crop reliable enough to feed millions. In zones 6 and 7, potatoes are almost foolproof. Number 9, rutabagas. These roots are tougher than turnips, sweeter than potatoes, and more forgiving than both. They take a few months to mature, but they sit in the ground without complaint.
Cold improves their flavor.
Frost doesn't kill them, and they store for months without refrigeration. Rutabagas were called seeds in Europe because they were the crop that survived Scandinavian winters. If you plant them in midsummer, you'll harvest them in late fall, and they'll taste better than anything you can buy. Number 8, parsley. This herb grows for 2 years, survives winter, and reseeds itself if you let it. It germinates slowly, but once it's established, it produces leaves non-stop. Flat-leaf parsley has more flavor than the curly kind, and it tolerates shade better than most herbs. The Romans believed parsley brought good luck, which might explain why it's been grown in gardens for over 2,000 years. If you want an herb that doesn't die every winter, parsley is the answer. Number 7, carrots. These roots are misunderstood. People think they're difficult because grocery store carrots are perfect and uniform. Real carrots are not. They grow in loose soil, tolerate cold, and taste sweeter after frost. The trick is to plant them in spring or late summer. Keep the soil moist until they germinate, and then leave them alone. Carrots are orange because Dutch growers bred them that way in the 16th century as a tribute to William of Orange. Before that, they were purple, yellow, and white. The point is, carrots have been growing in harsh conditions for centuries, and they'll grow in yours. Number 6, Jerusalem artichokes. These are not artichokes. They're sunflower tubers, and they grow like weeds. Plant them once, and they'll come back every year whether you want them to or not. They tolerate poor soil, drought, and neglect. The tumors taste nutty and slightly sweet, and you harvest them in the fall after the plants die back. Native Americans grew them long before European settlers arrived, and they spread across the continent because they required nothing. If you want a perennial vegetable that you can ignore, this is it. Number 5, onions. This is the vegetable that should be in every beginner's garden. Onions don't ask for much. You plant sets in early spring, keep them weeded, and pull them when the tops fall over in summer. They don't need fertilizer. They don't need pest control. They just grow. The reason onions are in every cuisine on the planet is that they grow almost anywhere. Short day onions work better in the south, and long day onions work better in the north, but both grow fine in zones 6 and 7. If you're intimidated by gardening, start with onions. You'll pull up bulbs in July and wonder why you ever bought them at the store. Number 4, winter squash. These plants sprawl, take up space, and produce more food per square foot than almost anything else. Butternut, acorn, and spaghetti squash all grow with minimal input. You plant them in late spring, let the vines run, and harvest in fall before frost. The squash store for months without refrigeration. During the Depression, winter squash were considered insurance. If everything else failed, squash would still produce. They tolerate heat, resist pests, and once the vines start running, they shade out weeds. If you have space, plant squash. Number 3, pole beans. These beans climb, produce for months, and require almost nothing. Bush beans produce once and quit. Pole beans keep flowering and setting pods until frost kills them. You plant them after the last frost, give them something to climb, and pick beans all summer. They fix nitrogen in the soil, which means they improve the ground while they grow. The Cherokee grew pole beans alongside corn for centuries because the system worked. Beans climb the corn supports the beans, and both plants thrive. If you only grow 3 vegetables this year, pole beans should be one of them. Number 2, zucchini. This plant is famous for overproducing, and that's exactly why it belongs on this list. Zucchini grows fast, tolerates heat, and produces so many fruits that you'll be giving them away. The joke about leaving zucchini on neighbors' porches exists because the plant won't stop. You plant it in late spring, water it occasionally, and harvest every few days. It's not elegant. It's not subtle. But it works. If you want proof that gardening can be easy, grow zucchini. Number 1, potatoes. Yes, I listed them twice because if you're only going to grow one vegetable, it should be potatoes. They store. They produce massive yields. They grow in soil that would frustrate other crops. And they've fed more people through more crises than any other plant on this list. You don't need raised beds. You don't need compost. You don't even need great weather. You need seed potatoes, a patch of ground, and the ability to mound soil. That's it. Potatoes are the reason people survived famines, wars, and economic collapse. They're not glamorous, but they're the most reliable vegetable you can grow in zone 6 or 7. If you're starting from scratch, plant these 3 first: potatoes for yield, pole beans for continuous harvest, and onions for simplicity. Those 3 will give you confidence, food, and proof that you don't need to be an expert. The one mistake that kills these plants isn't neglect. It's over-attention. Overwatering drowns roots. Over-fertilizing burns plants. Overworking the soil compacts it. These vegetables thrive when you give them space, decent soil, and then step back. The instinct to intervene is what fails. Trust the plant. If this changes how you think about gardening, you know what to do next. Start small. Grow what works. And stop wasting time on vegetables that demand perfection.